Welcome back to Curious Minds, a space where we explore mysteries, history, science, and the ideas that shape how we see the world. And every episode is a deep dive, grounded in research, storytelling, and curiosity. Today, we are embarking on a deep dive into one of the most enduring, secretive, and frankly, geopolitically charged legends in human history, the hidden kingdom of Shambhala.
Right.
This isn't just some mythical paradise tucked away in the mountains. We're talking about a source of immense spiritual and, well, material power, enlightenment, and the prophesied birthplace of the ultimate world restorer.
And what's truly fascinating here is how many different things this one single legend has represented over, millennia. Our sources are just vast.
Where are we pulling from today?
We're covering sacred texts like the Hindu Puranas and that really complex Tibetan Buddhist system,
Yeah.
the Kalachakra Tantra. But then those ancient ideas, they just jump forward and drag us into the modern era. They end up inspiring modern occult movements and leading to these utterly bizarre secret geopolitical expeditions. I mean, we are tracing a belief system that captivated everyone from Tibetan lamas all the way to the Bolshevik secret police and Himmler's SS.
That's an incredible range. So our mission statement today is to really unpack these three main interpretations of Shambhala for you.
Three main and often contradictory interpretations.
Exactly. First, is it a physical, inaccessible location with an advanced civilization maybe hiding right now?
Second, is it a powerful spiritual prophecy? One that's setting the stage for, the end of history and the beginning of a new golden age.
And finally, the third path, is it purely an inner metaphysical reality that you actually carry inside you?
And if we connect all of this together, you'll start to see the full scope. I mean, how a seemingly fictional Himalayan paradise could inspire Hitler's search for ancient superweapons.
Which is just wild to even say out loud.
Right. And why Russian mystics claim their expeditions led to sightings of UFOs, and why this one location is so critical to the prophecy involving divine figures like the cursed immortal Ashwatthama and Vishnu's final intervention, the Kalki avatar.
Okay, let's begin with the concept itself. The name Shambhala, it's Sanskrit Shambhala. It's beautiful, but what does it actually translate to?
The word Shambhala translates most directly to place of peace or place of tranquility, silence.
A place of peace.
And that central idea of perfect, undisturbed harmony is really why the myth is so universally appealing and so widely recognized all across Asia.
And it's not just a niche Tibetan belief, right? This has incredible multicultural recognition.
Oh, absolutely. In Sanandharma Hinduism, it is sometimes referenced as Arara.
Ara, what is that word?
It means the land of the worthy ones, which, ties it inherently to spiritual merit right from the start. Then, it's central to Tibetan Buddhism. It appears in Chinese lore as Shambhala. And even the pre-Buddhist Bon scriptures reference a similar, closely related sacred land called Tagzig Olmo Lungring. And that Bon text suggests this land wasn't just a paradise, but the origin of their entire spiritual tradition.
That scope makes it understandable why it's been called the land of 1,000 names.
Exactly. You see references like the land of white waters, the forbidden land, land of living gods. The definition just shifts constantly, adapting to local mystical traditions.
Whether you're talking about the Western paradise of Siwangmu in China or, what was it, the Russian Old Believers' search for Belavodi?
Belavodi, yes, a similar utopia. And for most Western listeners, this concept is probably best known under his fictionalized name, Shangri-La.
Right, from the book Lost Horizon.
Exactly. When James Hilton published that in 1933, he basically crystallized the Western idea of an isolated, harmonious valley where people lived these extraordinarily long, peaceful lives, sheltered from all the world's chaos.
And that whole framework is a direct borrowing of the ancient myth of Shambhala.
A direct Western literary borrowing, yes.
Okay, let's unpack the advanced civilization said to reside within this kingdom. Because we're talking about attributes that seem to just defy natural law.
They really do.
The sources describe the inhabitants as physically and mentally perfect, achieving, effective immortality. Some legends push lifespans over 4,000 years.
4,000, yeah.
So how does the lore even account for this? Is it just magic?
Well, the sources give a kind of dual explanation. It marries advanced science with this very esoteric discipline. Their incredible lifespan is attributed not just to a single fountain of youth, but to two primary factors.
Okay.
First, they have highly advanced medical and biological systems that stop disease and cellular decay.
Oh.
And second, a profound mastery of intense internal yoga techniques.
So it's a form of metaphysical discipline, a mind over matter situation.
Yes. The underlying theory in the lore is that if a practitioner can completely regulate their internal energy flows, the prana, and maintain total control over their breath and body energies, they can actually arrest the aging process. They can ensure that new, healthy cells are constantly generated and old cells are quickly replaced. In essence, they've mastered their own internal clock. It earns them the title, a city of immortals.
And this mastery extends far beyond their own biology. It seems to encompass physics, engineering. I mean, the civilization is described as having technologies far superior to our modern science.
Oh, far superior.
Including things like time travel, teleportation, even communication with non-human intelligence, sometimes called aliens.
And this is a crucial detail that links these ancient texts to the modern searches we're going to discuss later. The advanced flying technology mentioned in ancient Indian and Tibetan texts, which often describe celestial vehicles, or Vimanas.
Right, the Vimanas.
That's the source material that 20th century seekers reinterpreted as modern UFOs. The idea is that the residents of Shambhala have either invented or been given technologies allowing them to move across dimensions and even travel to other planetary systems.
It's a civilization where spiritual knowledge and scientific mastery are completely integrated. But the core of Shambhala's physical and mental power seems consistently tied to a single mythical artifact, the Chintamani stone.
The Chintamani stone, yes. The explorer Nicholas Roerich, who devoted his life to finding this place, he specifically believed this stone was essential to revealing Shambhala's secrets to the rest of the world.
So what is it?
That artifact is the mythological basis of Shambhala's immense power and capability. It's referenced in both Tibetan and Hindu texts as the wish-fulfilling stone, or Mani stone.
A wish-fulfilling stone.
And it's not just a relic, it's believed to be the ultimate source of cosmic energy. It concentrates the spiritual and mental power used by the residents for feats like telekinesis, instant healing, and telepathy.
And in some versions of the myth, it's not even from Earth, right?
Correct. In some versions, the stone is said to have originated from a distant star system, maybe even brought by the very aliens the inhabitants communicate with, giving Shambhala its unique technological edge.
Okay, so before we start chasing this kingdom across continents, we have to understand the fundamental barrier. If it's a physical location, why has no one found it? The lore gives these highly specific geographic clues, but they all come with a major catch.
A huge catch. And the physical description itself is beautiful, but also very esoteric. Ancient texts describe the Shambhala Empire geographically as resembling a giant lotus flower with 8 petals.
A lotus flower.
This structure is surrounded by 8 snow-capped mountains, with the capital, Kalapa, situated right in the center, above the petals. And the description of Kalapa's architecture is just opulent. Taluses made of gold, silver, emeralds, sapphires, and rubies.
And physically, where is this lotus supposed to be located?
Most references place it deep in the inaccessible mountainous regions of Eurasia. The most common location cited is near or to the west of Mount Kailash.
Mount Kailash, which is already incredibly sacred.
Incredibly. It's revered as the abode of Lord Shiva in Hinduism, and is sacred in Buddhism, Jainism, and Bon. However, you have these dissenting traditions, especially the ones explored by the Russian mystics, that sometimes place it further north.
Where to?
They link it to the Altai Mountains in southern Siberia, with Mount Beluga often cited as a potential gateway mountain.
But the reason these expeditions consistently fail isn't geographic, is it? It's spiritual. It's considered a pure land within the human realm, which means its secrecy is fundamentally metaphysical.
The sources are unanimous on this point. Shambhala is either protected by psychic barriers or it exists on a different plane of reality. The chaos of the physical world simply cannot touch it.
So you need a key.
You do. And crucially, access is granted only to those who have attained the highest limits of knowledge and spirituality. You must possess a pure heart, have a mind completely free of confusion, and have accumulated immense spiritual merit or karma.
So you can't just stumble upon it while hiking. You have to earn the right to even perceive it.
Exactly. The 14th Dalai Lama emphasized this. He said during a Kalachakra initiation that Shambhala is not a tangible place we can physically discover. Without that necessary merit and a genuine karmic affiliation, you could walk right past the mountain pass and all you would see is barren rock and snow.
So the kingdom is hidden not by distance, but by one's own level of spiritual purification.
Precisely.
Okay, now we enter the heart of the prophecy, because Shambhala's most important role isn't just about existing now, but about what happens next.
Right.
In the Hindu tradition, Shambhala is intrinsically linked to the end of the Kali Yuga, which is the current age we're in, right? The age of disputes and chaos.
Exactly. The Kali Yuga is the final of the 4 ages in the cosmic cycle, and is characterized by a rapid decline of moral and spiritual life, or dharma. And the sources, like the Vishnu Purana and Kalki Puran, they prophesy that Shambhala will be the birthplace of Kalki.
Vishnu's final avatar.
The 10th and final avatar of Lord Vishnu, yes. The protector of the cosmic order.
And his arrival is timed perfectly to the breaking point of the age.
It is. Kalki is predicted to appear when Earth's rulers become degraded, when they start acting like robbers, preying on the weak, and when societal morals just collapse completely.
And his mission.
To destroy darkness. To signal the end of the Kali Yuga and usher in the Satya Yuga, which is the golden age of absolute truth.
The birth details provided in the Hindu lore are incredibly precise, which lends this sense of certainty to the whole prophecy.
They really are. Kalki will be born to a family named Vishnuyas and Sumati in the village of Shambhala. His arrival is heralded by a special planetary alignment, a specific celestial sign seen only once every 6 millennia.
6,000 years.
And it has to occur alongside the position of the Ashwini Nakshatra.
Okay, what makes the Ashwini Nakshatra so significant here?
The Ashwini Nakshatra is a powerful asterism in Vedic astrology. It's symbolized by a horse's head, and it represents healing, revitalization, and power.
Which fits, because Kalki is always depicted as a warrior on a white horse.
A horse-riding warrior with a shining sword, yes. So this celestial marker reinforces his identity as the ultimate restorer. Furthermore, the Kalki Puran specifies the date of his birth as the 12th day of Vaisakha, which is usually April or May. This level of astronomical detail, it transforms the prophecy from a vague legend into a sort of cosmological roadmap for spiritual seekers watching the heavens.
It's compelling that both Hindu and Buddhist traditions agree on this, that the final king, or avatar, will emerge from this secluded kingdom when the cycles of time reach a breaking point.
And following this emergence, the ultimate final battle is prophesied. According to the Kalki Puran, the clash between Kalki and the embodiment of evil, the demon Kali, is predicted to happen in Jagannath Puri.
Which is a hugely significant spiritual location.
Hugely. And that location connects directly to some contemporary interpretations of the lore, too.
How so?
Well, modern fictional takes on Kalki often introduce a mysterious serum or some artifact that gives the hero his strength. And fan theories connect this modern fictional element back to the most sacred relic in Jagannath Puri, the Brahma Padarth.
The Brahma Padarth.
This is said to be the non-perishable symbolic beating heart of Sri Krishna, which is placed within the wooden deities of the Jagannath temple. The theory is that the ultimate power Kalki wields is derived directly from this divine residue residing at the prophesied battlefield.
Wow. Okay, so if we shift now to the Buddhist prophecy, which is in the Kalachakra Tantra, we find a powerful parallel figure in Rudrachakran and a similar narrative of ultimate conflict.
Yes, the Buddhist prophecy mirrors the Hindu one by defining the end times through moral decline. The Kalachakra Tantra predicts that as humanity succumbs to materialism and ignorance, which they call adharma.
The opposite of dharma?
Exactly. That barbarians, and they mean those lacking spiritual understanding, will unite under a malevolent ruler and launch a massive assault on Shambhala, trying to destroy the source of Dharma itself.
And this is when the savior emerges.
This is when he emerges. The 25th Kalki king, Rudrachakran, a title meaning bearer of the wheel of power or last king of Shambhala, he will emerge with a mighty enlightened army to defeat the dark forces.
And restore global dharma.
Ushering in a planet-wide golden age. The Buddhist timeline even places this event around 2424 or 2425 AD.
That's very specific.
Very. It's precisely 5,000 years after the Buddha's death, aligning it to these vast cosmic cycles.
But wait, the prophecy clearly describes a massive bloody war, armies conquering barbarians. How do theologians reconcile that violent martial imagery with the fundamental Buddhist principle of nonviolence? I mean, isn't that a huge contradiction?
That is the essential paradox, and it's where the deepest meaning lies. The Dalai Lama and leading theologians state clearly that the prophecy is not advocating for physical violence against human beings.
So what is it then?
It's a detailed metaphorical allegory. The war symbolizes the inner battle that spiritual practitioners must wage constantly to overcome their own destructive tendencies.
Ah, so the barbarians aren't people.
They're not people. They are ignorance, hatred, greed, and attachment, the very forces that cause all suffering.
So Rudra Chakran is leading an army of internal purification, not a physical military campaign.
Precisely. It's the battle for the mind. If the external world is a reflection of our internal state, then the physical world cannot reach a golden age until individuals win their own inner war against Dharma. This subtle dual interpretation allows the legend to function as both a thrilling end-time story and a profound instruction manual for mental discipline.
Before we move on to the modern search for Shambhala, we have to talk about the figures tethered to this prophecy who are supposedly already here, specifically Ashwatthama.
Ashwatthama, yes. The son of Guru Drona, one of the revered immortals from the Mahabharata.
He's an incredibly important figure because he links the past epic conflicts directly to this future prophecy.
He does. He's considered not just a powerful warrior, but a form or a part of Lord Shiva, the destroyer. This is evidenced by the distinct Trikundra Tilak, the 3 horizontal lines you see on his forehead.
Which marks him as an incarnation of Shiva's power.
Right. And it's a detail so crucial that even modern cinematic interpretations are careful to accurately portray this Shiva mark.
His story is so complex. He was cursed by Lord Krishna for his sin involving the use of the Brahmastra, the ultimate weapon, in a moment of vengeful rage.
After the war, yes. Yet that curse didn't destroy him. It simply condemned him to wander the earth in pain until the end of the Kali Yuga.
He suffers, but he's also immune.
Correct. The curse forces him to suffer the consequences of his actions, yet he retains an almost divine level of physical immunity. The sources state he's immune to all weapons, disease, evil, hunger, and thirst. This is because of a Shiva gem given to him earlier as a boon.
So he's just waiting.
He's waiting. The myth suggests he will only be fully released from his suffering when Kalki, the avatar of Vishnu, arrives.
It's interesting how his physical attributes are tied to the concept of time itself.
It is. There's an interesting detail in the Scan Puran that helps place him in this grand cycle of ages. Ashwatthama is rumored to be of extraordinary height, maybe 8 feet tall. And this is shown to be consistent with the idea that human height and physical prowess decrease across the yugas. His height confirms his origin in the Dwapar Yuga, where humans were generally much taller, contrasting sharply with the smaller stature of humans in our declining Kali Yuga.
And the weapons involved in these mythological conflicts, they're equally legendary. They almost feel like characters in their own right, setting the stage for this final conflict.
They absolutely are. You have Gandiva, the divine bow, created by Brahmadeva and used by Arjuna, and then the Vijay Dhanush, the bow Mahadev himself, used to end the demon Triparasur.
This attention to legendary ornament feels like a crucial detail about the cycles of conflict.
It is. The existence of these 2 great bows Gandiva, representing the Dharma of Indradev, and the Vijay Dhanush, representing the power of Suryadev, it indicates a perpetual cosmic conflict that transcends the individuals using them.
It's a cycle.
This cyclical nature of war and redemption is fundamental to the Shambhala prophecies. It suggests that the power needed to usher in the Golden Age is already ancient, just waiting for the final wielder.
And even the ultimate enemy, the demon Kali, is linked back to the beginning of creation.
According to the Kalki Puran, yes. The creation of the demon Kali originated from Brahmadev, specifically from the last part or back part of Brahmadev's body, the source of Dharma. This emphasizes that Kali isn't some external invention, but a necessary opposite force born from the creator itself.
Which might explain why the supreme villain in modern fictional interpretations, who represents Kali, can so easily handle the very weapons of Dharma, like Gandiva.
Exactly. The conflict is balanced, it's designed, and it's simply waiting for the final intervention from Shambhala.
Okay, so we've established Shambhala as this ancient, highly spiritual idea tied to cosmic conflict. Now, how does this obscure Himalayan myth about Kalki and Rudra Chakran become a 20th century obsession for the world's most powerful militaries, secret police, and occult societies?
It really starts with the arrival of the neo-theosophical movement in the West. Helena Blavatsky, the co-founder of the Theosophical Society, was the initial vector for bringing this concept to the European and American public in the late 19th century.
So she's the one who introduces it to the West.
She is. She introduced Shambhala through her esoteric writings, but she initially placed it as a sacred island, or an oasis in the Gobi Desert.
An island in the Gobi, that's geographically confusing.
It is, but she presented it as a spiritual utopia that housed the survivors of the sunken continent of Lemuria. Blavatsky positioned Shambhala as the true central headquarters of the Great White Brotherhood, a secret council of ascended masters who guide human evolution. She claimed humanity receives all its higher knowledge from this hidden land.
And her followers took this idea and ran with it, often blending it with darker occult concepts. Alice Bailey, for example.
Alice Bailey, who founded the Lucifer Trust, took the concept much further by describing the Shambhala force as a destructive cosmic energy that could be harnessed.
A Shambhala force. What does she mean by that?
She characterized it as a source of pure cosmic fire. Bailey argued it was capable of purifying the world, tearing down old structures, and establishing the new age, which made her a foundational figure in that whole philosophy. But crucially, Bailey warned that this force was completely neutral. It could be used for either constructive renewal or malevolent destruction, a concept she later claimed Hitler corrupted for the dark side of power.
So the idea was that Shambhala held the keys to ultimate cosmic power, usable by whoever could find and harness it.
Precisely. And this destructive potential quickly morphed from spiritual philosophy into real political maneuvering. You see this bizarre Russian political connection starting in the early 20th century.
Tell me about that.
A Buryat advisor named Agvan Dorjiev, a Buddhist monk, attempted this fantastic diplomatic move. He tried to convince the 13th Dalai Lama that Russia was the true embodiment of Shambhala,
That Russia was Shambhala.
and that Tsar Nicholas II was a reincarnation of a great Buddhist master, Tsongkhapa.
That seems entirely manufactured for political gain.
It was completely geopolitical. Dorjiev's goal was just to secure Russian protection for Tibet against growing pressure from the British Empire and China. And while the Tsar never formally agreed to being a Buddhist avatar, this narrative was so influential it contributed to a lasting Russian esoteric interest in the region.
Which led to the first Buddhist temple in St. Petersburg.
In 1913, yes.
And this Russian fascination didn't just disappear with the fall of the Tsar. It fueled literal state-sanctioned expeditions, even under the atheistic Bolshevik regime.
It's astonishing.
I mean, Gleb Boki, the chief cryptographer for the Soviet secret police, the Cheka, was deeply involved in this quest in the 1920s.
Boki's obsession was one of the most bizarre attempts in this entire narrative. He believed he could merge the spiritual discipline of Kalachakra Tantra with the political goals of communism.
To what end?
To facilitate the creation of the perfect communist human beings. His goal wasn't spiritual liberation, it was engineering a politically and physically superior Soviet citizen using Shambhala's esoteric knowledge.
So spiritual discipline was seen as a tool for revolutionary zeal.
Absolutely. Boki and his associate, the writer Alexander Barchenko, sought to retrieve the wisdom of Shambhala. They ran a secret laboratory affiliated with the secret police, experimenting with Buddhist spiritual techniques and even trying to apply methods like telepathy for state security.
Just incredible.
Their entire project treated Shambhala as a source of ultimate social and biological engineering power.
Parallel to this, we have the most famous seeker, Nicholas Roerich, the Russian mystic and celebrated pinker.
Roerich's journey was legendary. He led these highly ambitious, multi-year expeditions across the Gobi and the Altai Mountains between 1924 and 1928, searching for the physical location of Shambhala.
And it was often funded by competing interests, right? The Soviets, the British.
Even some Americans. He was convinced that Mount Baluka in the Altai was a gateway, believing it to be the true source of all Indian spiritual teachings. He synthesized ancient scrolls, maps, local legends. It was his grand quest.
And he provided perhaps the most compelling anecdotal evidence for its physical reality, which ties back to that advanced technology we discussed earlier.
That's right. During his journey in Mongolia in 1927, Roerich claimed to have witnessed a mystical sighting of an oval-shaped object, what we would now call a UFO, flying across the sky.
A UFO.
He immediately interpreted this as seeing a glimpse of Shambhala itself, suggesting that the kingdom's advanced Vimanas, or flying craft, were actively patrolling the borders of their realm. And that story served to directly link the ancient technological claims of Shambhala with 20th century flying saucer fever.
But the darkest association, of course, belongs to the Nazis. This demonstrates how truly high stakes this search became.
It really does.
It's astonishing that global superpowers were taking Tibetan folklore seriously enough to dispatch government agents across Asia looking for magic rocks and psychic powers.
It's true. In 1938, SS Chief Heinrich Himmler financed the Ernst Schaefer expedition to Tibet. And while the official cover was zoological research, the secret mission was to seek Shambhala and its rumored inner earth counterpart, Agartha.
What was the Nazi rationale? What did they expect to find there?
Himmler and the occult wing of the SS, the Unterby, were obsessed with finding ancient, pure Aryan origins and spiritual powers. They believed these hidden lands held the secret of Vril.
Okay, we need to contextualize that term vril because it sounds completely fictional.
Well, it is fictional, but it was crucial to their belief system. Vril is a concept from an 1871 science fiction novel, The Coming Race. It's described as an immense cosmic energy source, capable of both creation and destruction, harnessed by an advanced subterranean race.
And Himmler believed this was real.
He was convinced that the secret masters of Shambhala or Agartha controlled Vril, and that if the Nazis could acquire this power, it would grant them unstoppable spiritual and technological superiority, securing world domination.
So they went looking for it.
They did. They also used the expedition for more mundane tasks, like measuring Tibetan skulls, to try and demonstrate a common origin for the so-called Aryan race, connecting Germany and Japan.
The Nazi mission failed, as did the others, yet the fact that these high-level government-sanctioned expeditions happened makes it impossible to just dismiss Shambhala as mere fantasy.
You can't. Global powers treated the possibility of a physical location or a powerful source of ancient wisdom as a serious strategic unknown. And this belief feeds into some of the region's most enduring mysteries, suggesting that the kingdom's policy of secrecy is still actively enforced.
A great example is the vanishing kingdom of Gu in Tibet, which just disappeared off the map.
This incident in 1673 is a classic example that feeds the physical Shambhala theory. The prosperous Gu kingdom, home to about 100,000 people, vanished overnight during an attack by the king of Ladakh.
Gone.
When the invading soldiers arrived, they found the enormous city completely empty.
And how does this connect to Shambhala?
Well, the soldiers found tunnels that had been intentionally broken and sealed, with clear signs of very recent mass movement leading toward Mount Kailash, the very place rumored to hold the gateway.
Wow.
This has baffled historians for centuries. Speculation ranges from mass poisoning to the inhabitants using an unknown escape route into the hidden realm. Some even theorize alien intervention to rescue the population.
And even into the Cold War, U.S. intelligence maintained interest. There was a declassified CIA program codenamed the Shambhala Watch List.
Yes, the intelligence community treated the region's paranormal interests very seriously. This sustained surveillance was based on sporadic reports from isolated monasteries, often citing strange electromagnetic readings or unidentifiable light sources. It suggests that intelligence agencies kept Shambhala on the list of potential sources of unconventional power well into the 20th century.
And then there's the chilling, visceral mystery of Rupkund, the Lake of Skeletons.
This high-altitude lake, at 16,500 feet near the Tibet border, holds over 800 human skeletons. They're uncovered whenever the seasonal water melts.
And the DNA is fascinating.
It is. It shows these remains include South Asian, Chinese, and Korean people who died at different times over 1,000 years. It's not one mass grave, it's a cyclical accumulation.
So why are all these people here at this extreme altitude dying repeatedly over a millennium?
The leading mythological explanation, often cited in the lore, is that they were pilgrims who perished seeking Shambhala. They got close, but were defeated by the altitude or the final spiritual barrier.
There's a darker theory too, right?
A darker local myth links the broken skull bones found on some remains to the Yeti or other supernatural guardians who were believed to enforce the secrecy of the city near Mount Kailash. The lake's proximity, only 65 kilometers from the Tibet border, keeps this macabre mystery firmly tied to the region's hidden secrets.
So we've established that Shambhala is simultaneously an advanced physical civilization that actively hides and a grand prophecy of global conflict. Now we turn to the ultimate conclusion favored by modern spiritual masters. Shambhala as the inner kingdom, the true land of peace.
This is the critical shift in perspective. It transforms the search for Shambhala from a geographic race that obsessed the Nazis and Soviets into a purely psychological and spiritual journey.
The ultimate meaning is internal.
It's the ultimate layer of meaning in the Kala Chakra Tantra, the Wheel of Time, which is the foundational text for this tradition. Its true purpose is a path to purify the mind.
Khentrul Rinpoche explains that Shambhala is the source of peace and harmony, accessible only by understanding and practicing the Kala Chakra Tantra. Can you break down the complexity of that system?
The Kala Chakra defines reality through 3 interlocking time cycles. The external cycle covers astronomy, the movement of planets. The internal cycle governs breathing, body energies, the flow of energy through the chakras. And the alternative cycle is the ultimate spiritual path of tantric practice.
And the problems of the world.
The problems and conflicts, both external and internal, that cause suffering are driven by confusion and karma.
So the spiritual texts identify the actual mechanism of conflict.
Precisely. The forces that drive the cycle of suffering are generated by the winds of karma. And these winds aren't abstract. They are the subtle energy flows in the body and mind based on our fundamental confusion about reality. They manifest as destructive emotions: anger, greed, attachment, selfishness.
So these forces are the true invaders or barbarians mentioned in the prophecy.
That's the key metaphor. The true war that practitioners must face internally is the battle to overcome these negative tendencies. If individuals operate from a place of confusion and selfishness, they act destructively, creating negative karma that perpetuates the cycle of suffering. The external physical conflict is just a massive reflection of this mass internal failure.
Therefore, the way to bring about the golden age of peace, the alternative cycle, is to overcome these winds of karma. Where does the internal interpretation place Shambhala in the body?
It places Shambhala squarely in the heart chakra, known in Sanskrit as Anahata, the center of sound, balance, and bliss, the sacred heart.
And this directly links the physical mythological description, the lotus flower with 8 petals, to the internal structure of the body.
The structural similarity is fascinating. The traditional heart chakra is often depicted as a lotus with 12 petals, but the Kala chakra texts discuss a smaller, very subtle chakra just below the heart, which is an 8-petaled lotus.
The 8 petals of Shambhala.
Exactly. This 8-petaled lotus is symbolically interpreted as representing the 8 divisions of the physical Shambhala. This subtle space is called the home of the Supreme Self, where all duality stops making sense and true inner peace begins.
So this ultimate tantric practice parallels the political unification prophesied by Kalki externally. It's an internal unification, bringing harmony to the disparate parts of the self.
Absolutely. Just as Kalki is prophesied to unify the castes and the people to fight the invaders, the inner tantric practice requires bringing all the disparate winds of karma together, dissolving their chaotic movement, and centralizing them into the heart chakra.
How is that achieved?
Through deep, precise yoga and meditation practices, based on a correct, non-conceptual understanding of reality, coupled with perfect motivation and discipline.
And what is the ultimate result of that profound internal purification and unification process?
The ultimate success dissolves these wild, chaotic winds. And when the winds dissolve, they reveal the clear, light mind.
The clear light mind.
This is the deepest, ultimate spiritual meaning of Shambhala. The clear, light mind is the completely non-conceptual awareness of reality, attained only through the dissolution of all self-clinging and confusion. This enlightened state of being is the true land of peace, liberation, enlightenment.
So the teachers conclude that to live in Shambhala, you don't need a passport or a plane ticket.
You only need to start living kindly and compassionately toward all forms of life.
This entire philosophy is captured so powerfully in that famous Tibetan story about the yogi.
The one where the yogi travels tirelessly, seeking the physical Shambhala, enduring these dangerous, unforgiving conditions, only to finally meet a hermit.
Yes, and the hermit simply tells him,
You hold the kingdom of Shambhala in your heart.
it's the ultimate spiritual reversal. The kingdom is not waiting to be found geographically. It is realized and lived out through the compassionate decisions and actions we make and show toward the world around us. Shambhala isn't a destination. It's a state of mind attainable only through profound effort. So what does this all mean? Shambhala is simultaneously a mythical kingdom that was the target of Nazi and Soviet armies, the prophetic setting for the end of the age, and the ultimate spiritual state achieved through rigorous inner purification. Its enduring nature lies in its ability to be simultaneously physical, prophetic, and deeply personal.
And what's fascinating here is the tension between that utopian ideal and reality. We're drawn to the physical idea of paradise immortality, advanced tech, perfect peace.
Yeah.
But is that physical paradise even sustainable? Our sources force you to consider John Calhoun's famous Universe 25 experiment.
Right, the rat utopia.
He created a physical utopia for mice, unlimited food, no disease, no predators.
And despite this perfect comfort and guaranteed safety, the society completely collapsed from within. It suffered a behavioral sink because the lack of struggle and meaningful roles led to widespread violence, social dysfunction, and complete withdrawal.
Which raises an important, provocative question for you, the listener, to mull over. If absolute comfort and peace are demonstrably unsustainable and lead to internal decay in the physical world, is Shambhala's enduring mystery a warning? a warning that paradise can only truly be maintained not by geography or technology, but by the continuous conscious effort of the enlightened mind, the unending battle against the inner forces of adharma that we face every single day.
So that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for spending your time with Curious Minds. If you found this discussion interesting, feel free to like, comment, and share your thoughts. And as always, stay curious, stay grounded, and hope to have you join us for the next one.